Hey friends, welcome. Glad to be with you today. A little interruption to your day, but hopefully we can provide a little bit of value to maybe what you're working on today. Listen, if you're watching live on LinkedIn, say hello in the comments. I have my little computer here. I can engage and address some of the questions. We're going to be talking about something powerful today around what all companies are facing, not only in today's world, but in the history of making a company. And that is this one big problem, and that is every company wakes up every day thinking about, how do we differentiate ourselves from the competition? If you think about it, if it's a product or service, if it's a car, TV ads, go down the beer aisle and you can see just obnoxious amount of choices. And so what does like a Sam Adams differentiate from one of the largest selling brands in the world, and how do they understand their ideal clients and who they want to talk to? So we're also live here on Facebook. So those of you that are joining us on Facebook, love to hear your comments. Chime in live if you're with us live. I can answer and see those comments with you. So that'll be fun to engage with you live here today. So, and let me just pull this up real quick. All right, I see that we got some viewers here on Facebook as well. All right, I can see you guys there. Okay, so let's just talk about a little bit what we're going to cover today. So what we're going to cover is essentially your competition as we think it is, right? It's not who you think it is, right? Your competition is maybe not your competitor that you think you're competing with down the street, or that investor that's buying more deals, whatever that might be. We're going to be talking about effective marketing strategies in today's marketplace, and then how to increase conversions with what you're doing, no matter if you're renting apartments, trying to get a client, introduce a software, whatever that might be. We're going to be talking a little bit about those aspects as well. So what I thought was very interesting is 72% of customers would rather learn about a product or service by watching a video. If you think about it, like we watch videos right now, our world has been forced to interact with video. And so those of you that can get good at understanding how to transfer knowledge with video will have a competitive advantage in introducing products, educating the marketplace, and doing some fun things for you. Hey, Jason, I see you just dropping in from Atlanta. Thanks for joining us live. Glad that you're watching. Appreciate you guys. All right, so let's talk about your competition. It's not who you think it is. Right now, your competition is the president, right? He's all over the news, right? Talking about coronavirus. You've got the competition might be the attention span of the person that you want to sell to. It could be many things right now. It could be the fact that you're juggling work from home scenarios. You're trying to figure out how to interact with the world in new ways. And your competition is no longer just the people that are selling similar products. So let's just talk about that here. We have, this idea of our competition being somebody that's next to us, selling a very similar product, but you're competing again with the attention span of your ideal or perfect customer, right? So how do you break through that noise? Okay, number two, we're going to be talking about people don't want your products and information. They want what's possible with what your product or your information can produce. So if you think about, I'll give you an example. A Ford F-150. You're trying to sell a Ford F-150. You've maybe seen these ads on TV. They have the Ford going up the hill, going over rocks, out on trails, a bunch of friends dropping out of the tailgate, running off and having a great time. There's a little bit of action in that story, that visual story they're telling. There's action, there's some details, right? There's the details of the financing, the payments, the down payment, and then all those little words at the bottom. Those details are there. And then there's emotion as well. So it's the emotion of, wow, I want to live free. I want to be able to explore the trails in my truck and and do the things that are possible. So they're really good at understanding that even the movies, there needs to be action. And this doesn't need to be things blowing up, right? It's just motion. If you've seen a James Bond movie, at the beginning it starts in action, right? It's like, what's happening? The viewer's engaged, right? So there's action, there's details, and then there's emotion. And so when you have those three together, you're able to create more emotional experiences. So people don't want a 4x4. They want what's possible with a 4x4, right? So if you think about the description on an ad, if it says it's 6,000 pounds, it's a 4x4, it's black. You can list off the drivetrain, all the details in the truck, and that's information. So if you're providing information to try and introduce products or get sales or do these types of things, then you're just informing, right? You're not getting them emotionally engaged. And our third point there is you're really in the emotional transportation business, right? You're trying to take somebody on a journey of what's possible by working with you, what's possible by attending your event, the transformation that would come, what's possible by buying your product. If you move into an apartment community, what's possible, while you live here. And so when you think about these details, instead of just saying it's a 4x4 or it's black, you can take information and turn it into a benefit or an emotional word, right? So black could be described as this Ford truck, at night driving up into the valet, with the lights shining on it, will look very elegant as you drop the keys off and have one of your Friday night date nights. Or it could be, hey, explore the trails of the Arizona desert in your all four-wheel drive vehicle. So you're getting people emotionally engaged in the product. You've got to connect that, because an emotionally unaffected buyer will not buy your product. All right, so let's talk about what the research over at WordStream has talked about, which is 59% of executives said that they would rather watch a video than read text. And this is to your advantage, because if you need action, you need emotion, you need this, these details, video is a great way to introduce those elements to the things that you want to do. In copywriting, you can also do those things, but you have to be really crafty about how you move your audience into a journey. That's why some writers sell lots of books, and most people that write books don't sell many books, right? So you have to take people on this emotional journey. And give me a second here. I'm going to check in over here. We've got, hey, Tanner saying hi over on Facebook. Good to have you here. Definitely watching some of your investments. Love what you guys are doing in the marketplace. So to be effective, we must understand how to use video to transfer this stuff. So again, these 3 points, I'm going to go through these. We grew up in a TV generation, right? This is no surprise. You've watched TV, you've learned about products, but there's a shift now that's happening with products. So if you think about everything that you've seen in the past growing up on TV, it's all been about the product, what it does, how it works. And this is one of the biggest mistakes I see marketers doing. Is they talk about their stuff. They talk about what it does. They provide information. Now, if you think about even a bigger issue, which is this isn't just selling products, this is selling ideas. If you want to change affordable housing and you want to write a letter to the congressman, or you want to give a quote to a congressperson, well, you can provide them all the data and the charts and the graphs, all that stuff. That's information. Until you emotionally engage them in moving a story on what the problem is for the city, the community, the lives that are impacted by inaction or action, then we're not going to affect behavioral change. Right? We're just informing people of things, right? So it's very important to understand that most products have always been about the product. And if you notice, new marketing today is about the experience, right? It's what's possible with buying and engaging that product. So providing information, again, is something that it's not something that's going to motivate, right, somebody to buy. So just providing information, here's my rents, here's my floor plan, here's the square footage, not enough, right? Not enough to make it work. The third point is make it about them, right? So everything that you do, if you're talking about, let me just back up. Let's say you're marketing a management company, right? Go to any management company. You can Google them right now. And you search third-party property management. If you notice, it's all about, we have this many units. This is our team, right? This is what we do. This is what we buy. This is how we report. This is our technology, all about them, all about them, all about them. If you want to get through and get people actually to change behavior and get excited about working with you, make it all about them, all about what they want, all about how they get it, right? And instead of saying, buy from us, you're just sharing who you're helping. And that's one of the things that I think is pretty compelling. So HubSpot, I'm going to bring up this quote. HubSpot says 97% of marketers say that videos helped users gain a better understanding of their product or service. Right? So think about this. Imagine that you could help somebody before they become a customer. What's the likelihood that they would want to work with you? If you're already improving their lives before they're a customer and their life is getting better, then the chances of them converting with you are greater. So when we think about marketing, don't think about like I'm going after sales. I'm going to go grab from the marketplace. Think about, how do I think about my customer, get into the story of what is their pain, right? How do I show up for them? And how do I help them with their number one pain? And by doing so, naturally you're going to attract people that want your solution, right? So think about, what does your product service offering have that solves somebody's problem? Create content to solve for that. You'll attract the ideal customer, and you'll be able to work together with these things. So let's move into really quickly how to increase conversions. Jason's commenting here, so true. People have to be able to see their personal picture of their vision. I agree with that, Jason. Definitely a great comment there. Let's move into increasing sales conversions. So there's 3 points I want to bring up, and that is, prospects are 85% more likely to buy after watching a video. We want to make it all about them, how they get it, and talk about who we're helping. So historically, we would say, I've got to be really tactful or really good at closing and convincing and, really being crafty with the sale. And the reality is, if you're doing all these other things, you're really not closing anybody. You won't ever have to do that, because they're going to want to raise their hand to call on you to help them solve their problem, because you've already shown them the solution. You've gotten them emotionally engaged, seeing the bigger and better future that they can create by having worked with you or your product, or renting it at your apartment, or they know how to avoid the pain of staying where they are as well, because you've educated them in advance. And by the time that you're on a conversation with them, by the time they're in front of you in a sales process, you're now qualifying them. Well, let's see if this is, a good fit for you, or you're doing less converting because you've done such a good job of showing them that, you have this solution to a big problem that they have, and you're the one to solve it, or your company is the one to solve it. And by doing so, you now have a less, you don't have to close as hard, right? And then the magic shift here is when, instead of saying, let's work together, call me, I'm your person for this thing, just start talking about the people that you're helping, right? And if you're helping people that are also wanting high level or also wanting this big problem to go away, then chances are somebody else will self-identify and say, hey, you know what, that's me. I'm that customer too. I want that result as well. So that's another element to get into. And so let's bring up the slide, creating an education-based marketing system to attract the perfect client. So don't think about getting clients, think about helping them get educated about the things you do. Okay, so create that. Definitely create that. Again, wrapping up here, your competition, it's not who you think it is. Your competition is not the supplier down the street. It's right now Donald Trump, right? It's attention, right? And then help your audience first. So this is, again, creating an education-based marketing system, getting out there and understanding who you want to work with, what is their big problem, create solutions around that, right? Or talk about solutions around that and get out there and help them before they're actually engaged with you. And then the final here is create a system that help clients formulate a decision. So if you think about all of our searches, it's how to fix this, how to do this, how do I find an apartment, whatever it is. But basically, in the message, when you create it, and the content you create it, all you're doing is you're creating content that helps people make a decision, right? Because the buyers that are buying right now are in, like, they're excited. Maybe they're in buy mode, but there's another marketplace that's hidden out there where people are researching, they're fact finding, they're gathering the data, they're reporting on it. And so they may be in research. That's what you want to do, is you want to show up when they're in research mode, because when you can show up in research mode, create value, educate them, teach them things that they may not otherwise know, and then by the time they're in that buyer circle and they're ready to buy, well, they'll fight to keep you as one of your clients. So I hope that was helpful. Now's the time for you to just go take action, right? I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the link or the comments box, and I'd love to connect with you and talk to you about ways that you can up your actions to get more clients. Until then, we'll see you guys in the next video.